All right, this is the video for activity 2 of the biodiesel lab, where it has been sitting for 48 hours, and you can see that we have a nice clear colorless layer of biodiesel on top of our solid catalyst. And so now we're going to do some chemical tests. So the first test is to determine the density. And so the first thing we want to do is tare your balance and then place your 10 mil graduated cylinder on your balance and record the mass of that graduated cylinder. So do not tare this, just record the mass. My recording would be 10.98 grams. Now I'm going to use a clean pipette and I'm going to remove about a milliliter of biodiesel and add it to the graduated cylinder that is on the balance. It does not have to be exact because we're going to use the grad cylinder to measure it and to measure both the volume and the mass. The pipette does have a mark that says about 1 milliliter, so that's useful. And so there we go. And so now my mass would be 11.92 grams, and my volume, if I get down and look at it, looks to be about 1.19. It's really close to 1.2, but it's a little bit below that, so I'll say 1.19 milliliters. And so I would use those numbers to calculate the density. Now, of course, you're going to have your own numbers and you're going to do your own calculation. All right, the next thing is that we're going to measure the pH of our biodiesel. So you're going to need to pull out your pH strips. Remember from aspirin that these white covers are not pH paper. They're just covers for the pH paper. The pH paper is the orange part. So grab yourself a piece of pH paper. You might want to put that on a piece of white paper and then make sure you have your pH paper key with you so you can compare and determine what the pH of your biodiesel is. So we're going to open up the biodiesel sample and we're going to use a clean glass stirring rod. We're going to dip that only in the biodiesel. Don't dip it all the way down to the solid catalyst. And then just touch the pH paper once, and that should be good. And it's very faint, actually. I think I'm going to do it a little bit more just to see if we can get a little bit bigger of a response, because it's pretty light. Okay. And so now I will show you the result, if I can pick that up. And I would argue that that is a straight up pH 7. That is a nice light green color, but not quite pH 8. And so hopefully you guys can see that I think my biodiesel is a pH of 7. All right, the last thing that we're going to do in this video is we're going to get this set up for the last test. We're testing for soap, because soap would actually be an impurity in the biodiesel. And so the first thing that we want to do is remove a milliliter of biodiesel. The exact amount is not important. And you're going to put it in a test tube that should hopefully be in your test tube rack. So again, the pipette you've been using for your biodiesel should have a mark on it of about 1 milliliter. And we're going to transfer that into the glass test tube. And then you'll want to recap your biodiesel. And now we're going to add 7 milliliters of the methanol. So remember the methanol we used to synthesize the biodiesel. We're now going to use this to do a chemical test. So there's my 1 milliliter. You can use the graduated cylinder if you so choose, or you can do 7 shots with the pipette. I'm going to do the pipette, and I'll just do it quickly. So I think a full bulb is probably about 2 milliliters, so that's 2. And you can see the viscosity is really low. 4, 6, and actually my test tube's full, so I'm just going to leave it there. I think that's good enough. And now we are going to put our gloved hand over the top and shake it up. And then we're going to let that sit for 10 minutes, and we'll come back and show you the results.